Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe. Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Jai Sitaram, Sitaram. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Prabhupada, Hari Hari Bol. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Sanat Kotni Vaishnavi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the kirtan. And request everyone to please attempt the quiz if not already done. So I can see that कुछ devotees ने join कर लिया है, quiz attempt कर लिया है, but सबने नहीं किया है. So link मैंने भेजा है अभी chat में, तो आप attempt कर सकते हैं. Meantime, we'll start the session. आप quiz attempt कर सकते हैं. So today we'll read from 1-3-28. Before so today Ronnie Prabhu is not there, so he has asked me to host the meeting. So we'll read through it, and अगर कुछ भी questions होते हैं तो अगर मैं answer कर पाया तो ठीक है, नहीं तो we'll park those questions for Ronnie Prabhu, or if somebody from somebody who has joined can answer, that would be great. So we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prabhupada ki Jai. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Hare Krishna. So जो भी devotees read करना चाहते हैं वो अपना hand raise कर सकते हैं virtual. तो अभी मैं start करता हूँ. So last session में हमने भगवान के अवतार्स के बारे में description पढ़ी, तो अभी हम वहीं आगे से continue करेंगे 1-3-28 से. एते चांश कला पुंसा कृष्णस्तु भगवान स्वयं इंद्रारी व्याकुलम लोकम मृड्यन्ति युगे युगे. Ete, all these. Cha, and amsha, plenary portions. Kalha, portions of the plenary portions. Pumshaha, of the supreme. Krishna, Lord Krishna. Tu, but. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Swayam, in person. Indrari, the enemies of Indra. Vyakulam, disturbed. Lokam, all the planets. Mridyanti gives protection. Yuge Yuge, in different ages. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets wherever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Purport. In this particular stanza, Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is distinguished from other incarnations. He is counted amongst the avatars, incarnations, because out of his causeless mercy of the Lord descends from his transcendental abode. Avatara means one who descends. All the incarnations of the Lord, including the Lord himself, descend to the different planets of the material world, as also in the different species of life to fulfill particular missions. Sometimes he comes himself, and sometimes his different plenary portions or the parts of the plenary portions or his differentiated portions directly or indirectly empowered by him descend to this material world to execute certain specific functions. Originally, the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. When they are partly manifested through the plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. When in the room small electric bulbs are displayed, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large-scale industrial dynamos with greater watts. Similarly, the incarnations of the Lord display limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time. For example, Lord Parshuram and Lord Narasimha displayed unusual opulence by killing the disobedient Kshatriyas 21 times and killing the greatly powerful atheist Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful that even the demigods in other planets would tremble simply by the unfavorable raising of his eyebrow. The demigods in the higher level of material existence many times excel the most well-to-do human beings in duration of life, beauty, wealth, paraphernalia, and all other respects. Still, they are afraid of Hiranyakashipu. Thus, we can simply imagine how powerful Hiranyakashipu was in this material world. But even Hiranyakashipu was cut into small pieces by the nails of Lord Narasimha. This means that anyone materially powerful cannot stand the strength of Lord's nails. Similarly, Jamadganya displayed the Lord's power to Jamadganya is Lord Parshuram. Displayed the Lord's power to kill all the disobedient kings powerfully situated in their respective states. The Lord's empowered incarnation Narad and plenary incarnation Vara, as well as indirectly empowered Lord Buddha, created faith in the mass of people. The incarnations of Ram and Dhanvantri displayed his fame, and Balram, Mohini, and Vaman exhibited his beauty. Dattatreya, Matsya, Kumar, and Kapil exhibited his transcendental knowledge. Nar and Narayan Rishis exhibited his renunciation. So all the different indirectly or directly empowered incarnations of the Lord manifested different features. But Lord Krishna, the primeval Lord, exhibited the complete features of Godhead. and thus it is confirmed that he is the source of all other incarnations. And the most extraordinary feature exhibited by Lord Sri Krishna was his internal energetic manifestation of his pastimes with the cowherd girls. His pastimes with the gopis are all displays of transcendental existence, bliss, and knowledge. Although these are manifested apparently as sex love, the specific attraction of his pastimes with the gopis should never be misunderstood. The Bhagavatam relates these transcendental pastimes in the 10th canto, and in order to reach the position to understand the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna's pastime with the gopis, the Bhagavatam promotes the student gradually in 9 other cantos. According to Srila Jeev Goswami's statement, in accordance with authoritative sources, Lord Krishna is the source of all other incarnations. It is not that Lord Krishna has any source of incarnation. All the symptoms of the supreme truth in full are present in the person of Lord Sri Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord emphatically declares that there is no truth greater than or equal to himself. In this stanza, the word Swayam is particularly mentioned to confirm that Lord Krishna has no other source than himself. Although in other places the incarnations are described as Bhagavan because of their specific functions, nowhere are they declared to be Supreme Personality. In this stanza, the word Swam signifies the supremacy as the Samam Bonam. The Samam Bonam, Krishna is one without a second. He himself has expanded himself in various parts, portions, and particles as Swam Roop, Swam Prakash, Tad Ekatma, Prabhav, Vaibhav, Vilas, Avatar, Avesh, and Jivas, all provided with innumerable energies just suitable to the respective persons and personalities. Learned scholars in transcendental subjects have carefully analyzed the Samam Bonam Krishna to have 64 principal attributes. All the expansions or categories of the Lord possess only some percentage of these attributes. But Sri Krishna is the possessor of the attributes 100%, and his personal expansions such as Swayam Prakash and Tad Ekatma up to the categories of the Avatar, who are all Vishnu Tat, possess up to 93% of these transcendental attributes. Lord Shiva, who is neither Avatar nor Avesh, nor in between them, possess almost 84% of the attributes. But the Jivas, or the individual living beings in different statuses of life, possess up to the limit of 78% of the attributes. In the conditioned state of material existence, the living being possesses these attributes in very minute quantity, varying in terms of the pious life of the living being. The most perfect of living beings is Brahma, the supreme administrator of one universe. He possesses 78% of the attributes in full. All other demigods have the same attributes in less quantity, whereas human beings possess the attributes in very minute quantity. The standard of perfection for a human being is to develop the attributes up to 78% in full. The living being can never possess attributes like Shiva, Vishnu, or Lord Krishna. A living being can become godly by developing the 78% transcendental attributes in fullness. But he can never become a god like Shiva, Vishnu, or Krishna. He can become a Brahma in due course. The godly living beings, who are all the residents of the planets in the spiritual sky, are eternal associates of God in different spiritual planets called Haridham and Maheshdham. The abode of Lord Krishna above all planets is called Krishnalok or Golok Vrindavan. And the perfected living being, by developing 78% of the above attributes in fullness, can enter the planet of Krishnalok after leaving the present material body. Hare Krishna. So, यहाँ पर basically Sukhdev Goswami ये बता रहे हैं कि कृष्णा इज द ओरिजिनल सोर्स ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉड है, मतलब एवरीथिंग एमिनेट्स फ्रॉम कृष्णा। और जो भी अवतार होते हैं वो बेसिकली कृष्णा के प्लैनरी पोर्शन या उनके भी प्लैनरी पोर्शन ऑफ द प्लैनरी पोर्शन होते हैं, बट द ओरिजिनल सोर्स इज कृष्णा। तो जैसे यहाँ पे परसेंटेज भी बताया है, और ये भगवान की 6 ऑपुलेंस हैं, जो जिसमें भी ये 6 क्वालिटीज होती हैं, वी कैन कॉल देम एज भगवान एज पर शास्त्र। और इसमें जैसे बताया है कि ब्रह्मा जी में मैक्सिमम 78% तक हो सकती हैं क्वालिटीज, कृष्णा में 100% है, और शिव जी में 93%, 84% है, और जो भी जितने भी अवतार हैं जैसे विष्णु है उनमें 93% तक हैं, बट कृष्णा में 100% क्वालिटी है। सो बेसिकली यही बता रहे हैं कि कृष्णास्तु भगवान स्वयं। So we'll move to next shloka. हरे कृष्णा आनंद विलासनी राधा माता जी, आप रीड कर सकते हैं।
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Text 29. Janma guyam bhagavato ya etat prayoto narha shayam pratar granan bhaktya dukkha gramad vimuchyate. Whoever kept, Janma, birth, Guyam, mysterious, Bhagavatah, of the Lord, Ya, one, Etat, all these, Prayatah, carefully, Naraha, men, Shayam, evening, Pratah, morning, Granan, recites, Bhaktya, with devotion, Dukkha, grahamat, from all miseries, Vimuchyate, gets relief from. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead has declared that anyone who knows the principles of the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead after being relieved from this material tabernacle. So simply knowing factually the mysterious way of the Lord's incarnation in this material world can liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, the birth and activities of the Lord, as manifested by him for the welfare of the people in general, are not ordinary. They are mysterious, and only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter by spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. Thus, one gets liberation from material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of the Lord in different incarnations in sincerity and devotion, can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. The very word vimukti or liberation indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reciting them, one could not attain liberation. They are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service are not entitled to enter into the mysteries of his birth and activities.
थैंक यू माता जी। माता जी आप एक्सप्लेन करना चाहते हैं तो कर सकते हैं थोड़ा सा।
Yes, Prabhuji, this is basically Shruti Fal. This is Fal Shruti. Like जो मतलब जब भी हम कुछ रीड करते हैं या कुछ हियर करते हैं, तो उसका एक बेनेडिक्शन होता है। तो यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कि जब हम इस तरह के, यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं प्रभुपाद कि जब हम भगवान के जो इनकारनेशंस हैं, है ना, कि जैसे हमने इसमें पढ़ा कि भगवान के जो इनकारनेशंस हैं वो सब क्या है, दे the supreme Krishna is to Bhagwan Swayam, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and all other mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or the portions of the plenary portions. तो हम जब इन incarnations के बारे में पढ़ते हैं या सुनते हैं तो उसकी ये benediction है, उसका ये श्रुति फल है कि हम इन जो भी मिजरीज है, मटीरियल मिजरीज है, उनसे फ्री हो जाते हैं, है ना। और प्रभुपाद भी यहाँ पे ये कह रहे हैं। और दूसरा पर्पट में प्रभुपाद जो हम भगवत गीता में पढ़ते हैं जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्वाक्तदेहम पुनर्जन्म नीति मामेति सो अर्जुन। तो ये उसको बेसिकली उसी को एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि जो भी भगवान के ट्रांसेंडेंटल बर्थ और एक्टिविटीज को समझता है वो इन मटीरियल टैबरनेकल से बाहर निकल जाता है, इस मटीरियल मिजरी से बाहर निकल जाता है। और एक और चीज यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं that thus one gets liberation from material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of Lord in different incarnation in sincerity and devotion, कि यदि हम भगवान की जो बर्थ और एक्टिविटीज है और अलग अलग इनकारनेशंस को पढ़ते हैं या सुनते हैं, है ना, बाय सिंसेरिटी एंड डिवोशन, सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।
थैंक यू माता जी। माता जी नेक्स्ट वाला भी पढ़ दीजिए आप।
यस प्रभु जी। एतत् रूपं भगवतो हि आरूपस्य चित् आत्मना माया गुणैर्विराचितं महदादिभिरात्मनि। एतत्, all these, रूपम, forms, Bhagavatah, of the Lord, he, certainly, arupasya, of one who has no material form, chit atmana, of the transcendence, maya, material energy, guna, by the qualities, virachitam, manufactured, mehet adibi, with the ingredients of matter, atmani, in the self. Translation by His Grace, by His Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. The conception of the Virat universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form. But factually, the Lord has no material form. Purport. The conception of the Lord known as the Vishwaroop or the Virat Roop is particularly not mentioned along with the various incarnations of the Lord, because all the incarnations of the Lord mentioned above are transcendental and there is not a tinge of materialism in these bodies. There is no difference between the body and the self as there is in the conditioned soul. The Virat Roop is conceived for those who are just neophyte worshippers. For them, the material Virat Roop is presented and it will be explained in the second canto. In the Virat Roop, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, hands, etc. Actually, all such descriptions are for the neophytes. The neophytes cannot conceive of anything beyond matter. The material conception of the Lord is not counted in the list of his spectral forms. As Paramatma, as Supersoul, the Lord is within each and every material form, even within the atoms. But the outward material form is but an imagination, both for the Lord and for the living being. The present forms of the conditioned souls are also not factual. The conclusion is that the material conception of the body of the Lord as Virat is imaginary. Both the Lord and the living beings are living spirits and have original spiritual bodies.
यस माता जी आप कर दीजिए इसको भी एक्सप्लेन।
Yes, Prabhuji, इसमें यहाँ this was explains that this universal form, the Virat रूप, जैसे भगवद गीता में जो विराट रूप है वो भगवान श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को दिखाते हैं। सो उस विराट रूप की बात हो रही कि दिस इज फॉर द मटीरियल वर्ल्ड एंड दिस इज इमेजिनरी, क्योंकि जो मटीरियल वर्ल्ड के जो लोग हैं, जो मटीरियल पीपल हैं, वो एक्चुअली मटीरियल कॉन्सेप्ट को समझते हैं ना, चीजों को ग्रॉस लेवल पे समझते हैं, सटल लेवल पे नहीं समझते, आत्मा का कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर नहीं है उनको, तो मटीरियल लेवल पे हर चीज को वो समझते हैं, ग्रॉस लेवल पे समझते हैं, बॉडी जो जो नजर आ रहा है उसको सटल लेवल पे नहीं समझते हैं। तो जो विराट रूप है वो उन्हीं इसीलिए यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कि विराट रूप इज फॉर लेस इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन एंड इज फॉर न्यूफाइट्स, है ना, इट इज फॉर न्यूफाइट्स। तो बट ये जो मटीरियल, बट दिस इज मटीरियल फॉर्म एंड यहाँ पे बता रहे बट फैक्चुअली द लॉर्ड हैज नो मटीरियल फॉर्म, है ना, ये मतलब मटीरियल फॉर्म है मटीरियल लोगों के लिए, बट दिस इज नॉट एक्चुअली मटीरियल। और यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद भी वही सेम चीज पर्पट में एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि जो मटीरियलिस्ट लोग होते हैं वो उसी कॉन्सेप्ट को समझते हैं, इसीलिए जो विराट रूप है, और विराट रूप इज एक्चुअली यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद ने एक्सप्लेन भी किया है थोड़ा सा कि जो विराट रूप है एक्चुअली वो मटेरियल जो फॉर्म है, मटेरियल नेचर है ना, उसको उसका एम्बॉडीड फॉर्म है, मतलब उसके
एलिमेंट्स,
अलग अलग,
मटेरियल एलिमेंट्स से बना हुआ है।
हाँ लिम्स, मतलब अलग अलग लिम्स होते हैं। जैसे यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद ने एक्सप्लेन किया है इन द विराट रूप द मटेरियल मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट प्लैनेट्स हैव बीन कंसीव्ड एज हिज लेग्स एंड हिज एक्सेट्रा। सो विराट रूप इज लाइक कि जैसे किसी भी ब्रह्मांड में, किसी भी यूनिवर्स में 14 प्लैनेट्स होते हैं। सो मतलब जैसे आप आगे भागवतम में पढ़ेंगे तो प्रभुपाद और इसको डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करते हैं कि कैसे जो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट प्लैनेट्स हैं, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट लोक हैं, वो अलग अलग लिम्स हैं विराट रूप के। लाइक नीचे के जितने भी हैं वो फुट, लेग्स वगैरह ये सब है, नीचे के प्लैनेट्स हैं। देन जो 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 स्टमक पार्ट है दैट इज अर्थली प्लैनेट, और फिर ऊपर के हैं वो ऊपर के भगवान के ऊपर के लिम्स हैं। सो ऐसे यूनिवर्सल फॉर्म को एक्सप्लेन, विराट रूप को फर्दर एक्सप्लेन किया है। So this is actually for neophytes, for material people, because they cannot conceive, because they conceive in this way only, है ना, वो वैसे conceive नहीं कर पाते हैं। यदि आप उनको बताओगे कि कृष्णा की जो एक्चुअल ट्रांसडेंटल फॉर्म है ना, उसके बारे में बताओगे तो वो नहीं समझ पाएंगे। सो वो यूनिवर्सल फॉर्म को बहुत जल्दी, क्योंकि वो मटेरियल प्लेटफॉर्म पे है, मटेरियल लेवल पे है, तो वो मटेरियल लेवल पे ही समझ पाएंगे।
थैंक यू माता। निष्ठा माता जी, आप करेंगे? श्लोक श्लोक पढ़ लेंगे माता जी?
प्रभु जी प्लीज
तो
प्लीज।
मैं पढ़ देता हूँ। यथा नभसि मेघौ भो रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो नीले एवं दृष्टरिदृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः। यस माता
Yatha, Yatha, as it is, Nabhyasi, in the sky, Megha Gana, a mass of clouds, Venuha, dust, Va, as well as, Parthivaha, muddiness, Anil, in the air, Evam, thus, Dashrat, Dashtari, to the sea, Dashyatamvam, for the purpose of seeing, Aropitam is implied, Abuddhihi bhi, by the less intelligent persons. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant materially body conceptions on the spirit self. It is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is in all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of living beings, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virat Roop. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, when which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we see there is the president. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent man who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord. Although the Lord is within and without, the clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but that is a general conception for the layman only.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू। तो इसमें बेसिकली ये बता रहे हैं कि हम जो आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं वो मटेरियल बॉडी से करते हैं। स्पार्क जो है उसको हम देख नहीं सकते विद द मटेरियल आईज। तो क्यों नहीं देख सकते? क्योंकि हम, जैसे प्रभुपाद ने बताया कि हम जो लिविंग एंटिटीज हैं वो मिस्टेक्स, दे कमिट मिस्टेक्स एंड दे आर इल्यूजन, and that's why they cannot see that spark. So that's why इधर लिखा हुआ है कि those kind of persons are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called विराट पुरुष, जैसे हमने लास्ट श्लोक में पढ़ा। तो ये कुछ एनालॉजी भी दी हुई है उससे रिलेटेड। तो यही बता रहे हैं कि बट वो लोग लेस इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं। सो वी शुड एक्चुअली think about the spirit spark which is in the living being and not on the outside covering. So we'll proceed to next. निष्ठा माता जी, आप ये वाला भी रीड कर दीजिए, मैं श्लोका पढ़ देता हूँ। अथा परम यत् अव्यक्तम अयुद्ध गुना ब्रह्मितम अदृष्टा श्रुता वस्तु वा सजीवो यत् पुनर्भवा।
Atha, this, param, beyond, yat, which, avyaktam, unmanifested, avyudha, without formal shape, guna, brahmitam, affected by the qualities, adrishtan, unseen, ashruta, unheard, vastuvat, being like that, saha, that, jiva, living beings, yat, that which, puna, bhavaha, that takes birth repeatedly. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form which is without formal shape and is seen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtly, otherwise he could not have repeated births. As the gross cosmic manifestation is conceived as the gigantic body of the Lord, so also there is a conception of the subtle form which is simply realized without being seen, heard, or manifested. But in fact, all these gross or subtle conceptions of the body are in relation with the living beings. The living being has his spiritual form beyond this gross material or subtle psychic existence. The gross body and the psychic functions cease to act as soon as the living being leaves the visible gross body. In fact, we say that the living being has gone away because he is unseen and unheard. Even when the gross body is not acting, when the living being is in sound sleep, we know that he is within the body by his breathing. So the living beings passing away from the body does not mean that there is no existence of the living soul. It is there. Otherwise, how can he repeat his births again and again? The conclusion is that the Lord is eternally existent in his transcendental form, which is neither gross nor subtle. Like that of the living being, his body is never to be compared to the gross and subtle bodies of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary. The living being has its eternal spiritual form, which is conditioned only by his material contamination. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू। तो यहाँ पर बेसिकली ये बता रहे हैं कि जो हमारी दो टाइप की बॉडी होती है, एक तो ग्रॉस बॉडी जो हम देखते हैं और एक सटल बॉडी जिसकी वजह से हमें रिपीटेड बर्थ्स मिलते हैं, सटल बॉडी, जैसे हमने भगवत गीता में पढ़ा है कि मन, बुद्धि और अहंकार, that is unmanifest and unseen, so that carry the soul to the next birth, to the next body based on the consciousness. So इसमें जो लिविंग बींग्स की होती है, बट जो भगवान है उनकी जो है ऐसी कुछ, उनकी सिर्फ ट्रांसीडेंटल फॉर्म होती है, वो इट्स नीदर ग्रॉस नॉर सटल लाइक दैट ऑफ लिविंग बॉडी। हमारी तो सटल और ग्रॉस होती है, बट भगवान की नहीं होती है, और वी कैन नॉट कंपेयर दैट टू ग्रॉस एंड सटल बॉडीज ऑफ लिविंग बीइंग। ये सब जो कॉन्सेप्शन है ये इमेजिनरी है, और जैसे यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कि दिस शेप कैन नॉट बी, इट इज अनसीन, अनहर्ड एंड अनमैनिफेस्ट। जैसे हमने अभी पिछले श्लोक में बात की कि हम इसको नहीं देख सकते हैं क्योंकि हम वी आर इल्यूजन, और हमारे अंदर जो हमारी सेंसेस भी इम्परफेक्ट है। जैसे हम तो डेजर्ट में हम कई बार मिराज देखते हैं, ऐसा लगता है पानी है, तो ऐसे हम तो बहुत दूर की चीज को भी नहीं देख पाते हैं। जैसे उल्लू है, वो तो रात को देख लेता है, बट हम नहीं देख पाते, तो हमारी सेंसेस भी इम्परफेक्ट हैं, सो वी कैन नॉट सी दैट। मगर भगवान, दैट डजंट मीन कि वो चीज नहीं है। तो भगवान की जो फॉर्म है वो ट्रांसीडेंटल है, और it has nothing to do with gross and subtle like that of living being, which is on the material platform. तो अभी आज इतना ही पढ़ेंगे हम, टाइम भी हो गया है। अगर किसी का कुछ क्वेश्चन है तो पूछ सकते हैं, और भी डिवोटीज हैं, अगर कर पाए तो आंसर कर देंगे, नहीं तो विल पार्क दैट क्वेश्चन फॉर नेक्स्ट मीटिंग। थैंक यू। फिर हम एंड करते हैं आज का सेशन। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू।